Welcome to the Bitchin' Siblings Podcast. Well, go get your drinks now while you can. We haven't started yet.
I have mine to the side. I added my crown to it.
Dr. Pepper?
Yes. I prefer Dr. Pepper.
I'm not a Dr. Pepper fan
Dr.
either.
Pepper is so gross.
Well, you're gross.
Okay. Well, on that note, welcome to the Bitchin' Siblings Podcast.
Hey, Ginny, you sound excellent. What happened? You're back.
I'm back, you guys. Apparently my laptop decided to just default its settings, and I sounded underwater and far, far away, and really I was here.
Are you sure you weren't in Star Wars in a galaxy far, far away?
I mean, fuck, why would I be there? I'd rather be on a beach in Mexico or something,
Yeah, that checks out.
you know. Well, tonight we're a little bit off our schedule. We're recording in the middle of the week, and we have our lovely brother joining us tonight.
Hello.
Hey, Chris!
This is a quasi sound check, figure out what the hell's going on with our video and sound, but let's record while we're at it. So bear with us.
Well, this ought to be good, though. I mean, because we did leave off where I was going to talk about drunk bar stories, bartending stories or whatever, and then I didn't come back.
And you left our listeners hanging with midget wrestling and then just left us.
That's a cliffhanger if I ever heard
That's
one.
right. You got it. I'm good at that.
Okay, so let's get started. Tonight we are following up on our cliffhanger last time of Chris talking about midget wrestling, which politically correctness, this is what was advertised as. This is not
They called themselves
Yes,
midgets.
this is not a word that Chris and I are using in a derogatory term. This is literally how it was advertised and how they represented themselves as a company. I understand that it's problematic, but let's just put that out there.
This was also, 7-8 years ago?
Correct.
I mean, not a long time ago, but
long enough that people weren't as, opinionated about certain things. So, Chris and I at the time, lived in the same town, but we live in a very conservative area of the country. We're not in the South, but we're pretty conservative here.
we're not in the what?
We're not in the South.
The way you said South sounded like you were from the South.
The South. We're from the South. Yeah. But it is fairly conservative, and so there's just a lot of rules and laws and ordinances that the city has to follow. So they had to kind of class up their idea. Long story short, I was a beer tank girl, shot girl, and then I decided I wanted to bartend because that's where the money was. Don't get me wrong, I made decent money as a bar tank girl. I could make 100, 120 a night, which is fine. But while I'm making 100, 120 a night, there's 4 bartenders behind the bar, and they're dropping $300 to $400 a piece. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I'm a single mom. I could use $300 to $400 a night, So I started bartending at this place. I only bartended for about 1.5 years, and then I left because I'm old, and working from, you don't even start till 9, 10 o'clock at night at the earliest, and you're not getting out of there before 2 on a good night, and Chris can probably attest to this. Good nights, we were out maybe at the earliest 2:30, and I remember Jimmy John's closes at 3, and it was a rush to get out of, let's cut that out, to get out of the bar and get to Jimmy John's in time to get a sandwich before they closed. And I had to be
Same with McDonald's.
Yes. McDonald's too, yes. And I had to be at work.
McDonald's had a closing time?
Well, no, they were just really busy. I guess they weren't closing.
They weren't closing. They were the only ones that weren't closing. But because Jimmy John's was closing and Amigos closed at 3, the only drive-thru that's open or that has food besides Perkins is McDonald's. And on these nights we're working at Saturdays and Fridays and Saturdays, you're not just competing against the bartenders that are getting off, but you're competing against all the drunk people that are leaving the bar that are trying to get food. And you could be in that McDonald's drive-thru line for 30 minutes before you got to order your food. And they were not nice. I have a story about how that worked out for us. They're not nice. If you are not on point with these people, they will ignore you. They won't take your order. It's crazy. So I quit doing that about 1.5 years after, because it was just, the money was good, but I'm too old. Well, then I married my husband, and my husband's family has hotels with convention centers where there's lots of weddings. And during COVID, a lot of people had been let go or not let go, but like furloughed because there just wasn't a lot going on. And then as business ramped back up, some of these people had either found other jobs or couldn't work when these weddings were. And so they had asked if I could help. And I said, sure. Just kind of randomly here and there, 1099, pay me for a couple of hours. And finally, after like 6 months, I was like, should probably become like an actual employee. Because at that point, I had been scheduled more and more hours. So now I bartend at weddings and at company Christmas parties.
Conventions in general.
Yeah, just conventions in general, like usually work conventions and stuff, and make decent money. Work 1 to 2 days a week, give or take, depends. And the great thing about this one is the latest I have been home was New Year's Eve, and I got home at like 1:35. Usually we're home. Usually the bar closes down right around 11. Midnight at the absolute latest if it's busy, but I mean we're home by 12:30, so I'll take 12:30 over to 2:30, 3 in the morning any day of the week. So Chris, how did you get into bartending?
Well, you got me into bartending. I don't remember how it came up, but I must have been looking for some extra cash, or
I think you were working part-time at that time for Diamond, and so
well, yeah, I was working part-time there,
and doing side jobs.
yeah, I was doing some side jobs, and I think I was already managing. And
I don't know.
You said you might have come like, hey, do you have a few hours this weekend?
Oh, I think they were short, like a bar back, and they needed
right. And that's how I got my in. I just started stocking coolers, filling fruit, filling juices, just pulling any empty alcohol bottles out of the lineup. Always staying busy, checking ice for the beer tank girls, checking beer for the beer tank girls, and every now and then, maybe once every hour and a half, I could slip out the back for a smoke for 5 minutes, and then when I came back, it was a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
Fruit was gone, beer was gone, ice was gone, this was missing, that needed to be filled.
And you've literally been gone 5 minutes.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Yeah.
There was no end to the work. Well, and at the end of the night, while bartenders are wiping tables and stuff, I'm putting beer away and washing dishes. And that was another thing that I was doing too, was washing dishes. And that was a nonstop thing. There was beer cups coming in all the time. Maybe my first 3 nights of bar backing, they were like, yo, pick up the pace. I need this. Go get that. But after that, they were like, oh, shoot, I got limes already. My juice is filled. Dang, ice is here. Shit, dude, I ain't got to do nothing.
The great thing about bar backing, and I think beer tending, is it is a very immersive experience. It takes 2 or 3 days of work in it and figuring out the pace before you've got it down, because there is no time for mistakes. Like you're go, 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 go. There is your training is get in and get the shit done and figure it out.
Here's where the juice is. That's where the beer is. That's where the ice is. Make sure it's all good.
Yep.
That's basically how.
And be visible to your bartenders, beer tank girls, shot girls at all times. If I need something, I need to be able to ask you. I can't be looking for you.
But stay out of the way. There were several times they were just like moving me out of the way, especially when I was new. After I was there for a while, they all got to love me, but there were times where they were not. They were that was their space.
Yes.
I was just there to keep this space clean and filled.
So a good friend of mine who I met at the bar that we worked at, and I haven't spoken with him, so I probably shouldn't say his name. And Chris, you can probably gather who I'm talking about, but him and I talked about it the first couple of nights I bartended, and he said the best example he gave me is it's a dance. You have to know how to dance between each other. So there's however many bartenders in your bar back behind the bar, and you're all dancing together, and you all have to know your points, like your counts. You need to be able to know each other's tells. You need to be able to synchronize in and out, because everybody's constantly moving. And if you're not paying attention to the other dance partners, you're going to run into somebody or something, and it's going to create a bigger problem. So literally learning your bartenders, their tells, their looks, how they move, and learning how to dance in between that. That's the way it was described to me. And some people just don't get it. Some people can't dance together. you know. And it's not that they're bad bartenders. It's just the way that they work doesn't synchronize with the other person.
And that pace is not for everybody. That pace is definitely my pace. I'd rather stay busy. I don't want to be bored. I don't want to be just looking for something to do. I just want to have something to do. And so that pace is not for everybody, because not everybody has worked a pace like that or ever been needed to be on a pace like that. So they have no clue what it takes energy-wise and brain-wise
it is
to do the job.
Exhausting and physically, but not like construction physically. It's just consistent movement. There is no downtime. And then there's the brain capacity of remembering all the drinks that were just spit at you by 3 different people, remembering the prices, cashing it out, counting out your change, making sure you know where everything's at, keeping yourself aware of where your liquor is, how much you have of it, because if you're running low, you have to be able to make sure that you ask for it, because sometimes that alcohol is all the way in the back. And your beer bag has to run all the way to the stock room.
Well, what you guys did for me which was nice, is sometimes we had 2 bottles up there. Not all of them, just the main few. Maybe like 2 Jack Daniels, 2 Jim Beam, 2 Crowns, But everything else is just 1. But if there was ever anything that was getting low, they just set it on the counter, and I knew, that was something I just looked at. I'm like, oh, shit, they got an inch left in that bottle. I better go get another one and have it ready, and with the spout on it and everything.
Like, it needs to be open. Don't come at me with a bottle that hasn't been opened. The cork's not out. There's no topper in it. Like,
it's fast pace. I liked it though. I enjoyed it. That's why I stayed there for so long. I was there for 3 years.
I think because you started out as bar back and then moved over into bartending.
I'll never forget that day that I switched over. And it was, once I switched, there was no going back.
Correct.
And I had come to the guys and said, dude, they were mad. And I won't say names, but they were mad. It was St. Patty's Day. And one of our girl bartenders kind of came in a little partied up.
Yep.
She was not ready. I don't know if you know who that was.
Pretty sure I know who you're talking about.
And the 2 of the owners and I were in the smoke room, and they were just bitching, complaining. This is crap. This is not how you run a business. This is not how you come to work. This is not blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yo, I've been watching these bartenders. I don't know how long it'd been. Maybe a year.
Probably.
Most of a year anyway. And I was like, I've been watching these bartenders. There's nothing they can do that I can't. I can fill beer and take drinks. I may not know how to make a Bloody Mary, but I can get them a Bud Light. Like, I'll leave the alcohol to the veterans, but I'll stock beer and get beer, and serve beer. Yeah. And then it just snowballed from there. Actually, from that night on, I think they got rid of all barbacks to begin altogether.
I think the only time they had barbacks is when they had big shows.
Big shows, right? But not too often, because after I was bartending and bar backing at the same time, they were like, "What the fuck? We've been paying a bartender or a barback for. Like, if Chris can do both, shit, he can take care of half the bar. They can take care of the other half the bar.
Yeah,
we don't need all these yahoos behind the
the only time it's like, I think, absolutely necessary is when you have a big show and you have 4 bartenders that literally are 5 deep. Then you need a bar back, and then it's not even a matter of paying them like lots of hours. You really only need them from when the show starts to the show ends.
And we were like the exclusive club in town. Like, we had everybody from good country, good rap, hip hop. I mean, real names too, like Chris Calico, Afro Man,
Dustin Lynch.
Wait, what? You guys had Afro Man?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We also had Cypress Hill at one point. I don't know if it was when we had Cypress Hill. It might have been so. But yeah, we've had some decent.
I went to it might have been Tech 9 back when it was before.
Might have been. It wasn't Tech 9. It was either or at the other side, which was the
right.
I think that's where Tech 9 went.
I can't. I'm pretty sure it was.
It might have been. I don't know.
I didn't like that other new bar. There was something about it I didn't like.
Yeah.
too crowded, I think.
The acoustics were awful.
And also, I even did some bar what do they call that? Bouncing.
Yeah.
Checking IDs, taking cash, and that actually I got involved in some funny shit. That was fun. So I did it all around a bar.
Oh yeah. So to start off, so my first story was kind of, it's actually not a funny story. Kind of it now after the fact, but I was beer tanking, which is right inside the door. Like, so like right inside the door, you got your two bouncers, they check your IDs, blah, 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 and your cash. And then the beer tank is like right there to the right. So that like the whole purpose is if you want just like a basic Mick, Bush, Bud, Miller, you know, whatever, you can get it there instead of waiting at the bar, which is 2, 3, 4, 5 deep sometimes. And just for a beer is kind of pointless. And as long as you were paying cash. Ooh, look at that.
I was waiting on that timing.
And as long as you were paying cash, it was, you know, easy. And it made it great for like when there were shows where people just wanted beer, you know. I don't remember if we had a show going that night. I don't remember if you were working, Chris. I remember that, I remember that we had the two bouncers. And it was getting towards the end of the night, and behind me was the two pool tables. So where I was at with the beer tank was fairly lit compared to the rest of the bar because the pool tables are right there and they have the lights over them, and it's right inside the door where they have to be checking IDs and taking cash. So it's more lit there than anywhere else. So it makes it a little more interesting that this person had the balls to do this where they did, given how visible.
I am afraid about what you're gonna say.
You're actually probably gonna be really pissed off.
Because I cleaned it up, didn't I? I probably cleaned it up.
No.
She already said she wasn't sure if you were working.
I don't remember if you were working or not. I just know that one of the owners of the bar was sitting somewhere on a stool within my general vicinity. Not necessarily right next to me, but somewhere within the first 5 feet, 10 feet of the perimeter of the front door. Which, Chris, visually, you know where I'm talking then.
Yeah.
First couple of tables by the pool table, whatever. This guy comes up, and at the time, our uniform was cut-off shorts, cowgirl boots, and like a flannel, like a pink flannel that we used, and we could tie it any way we wanted. You could make it like a crop, you could make it tucked in, and then it usually had like a white tank top or a bralette or something underneath. It was not scandalous by any sense of the word, but you could make it more scandalous depending on how you tied your shirt. And I tied my shirt down by like where my shorts were, so like I wasn't showing anything major or whatever. But this guy comes up behind me and takes his hand and slides it down my shirt and grabs my boob right in front of the store, or right in front of the bar owner. And he's like, my friend dared me to do it. My friend dared me to do it. Now, Chris, you know the bar owner. You know probably which one I'm talking about right now. Bigger one. I have never seen him turn the color of red that he turned. He was livid. Because this guy literally went down underneath my shirt, underneath my bra, and like grabbed my boob. Sexually assaulted right then and there. And like for me, I was more like, what the hell? And he's like, my friend dared me to do it and he didn't think I would. And I was like, I don't fucking care what your friend thought. And I didn't know had seen it from where I was at. Because it just like it happened. And I'm busy. I'm popping, 5-10 bottles at a time. And this happens. I have never seen chase somebody out of that bar quicker than he did that night. And he was like, I want your fucking driver's license. You are not allowed in my bar ever again. And I don't think he filed a report, but like more or less put it on file and like made sure that asshole was never in the bar again.
Both of the bar owners were good dudes. They looked out for all. I mean, they didn't have to look out for the dudes, but they did. But they were very, very protective of all of the girls.
Oh yeah, but we were a family.
Oh, it was a family for sure.
I feel like most bars that I've heard of or I've ever been to, they generally are pretty protective of their females because they know what can happen.
Yeah, and when we left the bar at night, we all left as a group. We were all kind of parked in the same area. We all left together. If somebody had to leave early, they dipped out whenever they did, but we all left at the same time for the most part.
I think it's a good sign of a bar if it is a family and you treat each other like family and you respect each other like family, because, a bar is a place where even if you're working and not a patron, There's lots of alcohol involved. Not that you're drinking on the clock, but there's just lots of alcohol. You go. There's so many opportunities to misinterpret someone's words or, it's just, so you need to be able to trust the people you're working with and know that it's not a personal thing. We're working, we're hustling, we're trying to get the guests taken care of. And that is the main goal. No one's intentionally, hopefully, going out of their way to make the job more difficult than it needs to be. So
those people just don't last very long.
No.
The ones that do that. And there are several faces thinking back. I'm like, yeah, they were there for a minute, literally, maybe a night or a week.
Yeah. Chris, what's one of your first bartending stories? I kind of brought us all down, but let's get into some fun ones.
One of my favorites, I was actually bouncing, and these people came in. They didn't make themselves noticeable when they came in.
Yeah.
So later on in the night, I'm looking over at the dance floor at the concert stage, and I see this pair of feet just do a somersault. Bare feet. They're girls' feet, definitely. Dudes ain't putting their bare feet out there. So I told the other bouncer, I was like, I'll be right back. So I walked up to the front, right in front of the front stage, and I grabbed this girl by the wrist, and I was like, you need to come with me. It's time to go. She's like, why? But my beer's over there. I'm like, you're not taking your beer anywhere. You're leaving right now. But where's my shoes? I don't give a shit. You better find them real quick because you're done. It's time to go. Well, her boyfriend had kind of seen what was going on. I had no idea who he was, where he came from. And as I'm escorting her to the door, he's like, hey, man, that's my girlfriend. I'm like, cool, well, take her home. Get her out of here. She's too drunk to be here. She's going to hurt herself. She's going to hurt somebody else. We can't have that. You need to go. It's time to go. So he takes her out to the car or the truck, whatever, and I thought it was done. Dude comes back in. Did you take your girlfriend home, or is she just sitting in the truck? Because it wasn't long enough for him to really go anywhere. It was only like 2-3 minutes. She's good. Oh, whatever. None of my business. Okay, whatever. I got a job to do. If you put her in the truck, whatever, I hope she doesn't freeze because it's cold. And then bar closing comes around. We got everybody shooing out the door, and, we got to be careful. Just as careful letting people in as letting people go. They cannot have beer with them.
They can't even have a glass of water.
Right. You don't want them taking the salt shaker even. You just got to be watching, really, honestly. Well,
when they're that drunk that late at night, they will try any and every trick they think they can to hide anything. Jackets, pockets, under their shirts, under their boobs, under their armpit. They're creative.
And usually it's pretty obvious.
Well, yeah.
At the end of the night when they're that drunk, yeah, it's pretty obvious.
But trying to remove an item that a drunk person is intentionally trying to hide from you is quite a feat of engineering.
Well, I think I did it pretty good. This guy at the end of the night wanted to... He wanted to pull one over on me and take a beer out with him. So underneath his coat, he had tucked under his arm, in his sleeve. He's got, and I could tell just because of the way he's holding his arm and I could tell. I'm not dumb. I'm sober as a fucking bell right now. I'm checking, dude. You can't. Whatever, man. Whatever. So he comes out and I pat him on I was like, all right, good to see you, man. Have a good night.
You hit the bottom of the beer bottle.
On purpose, just so he knew that I knew it was there. I was like, "Have a good night, buddy. Get it. Drive safe." What's that? Feels just like a beer bottle. And I opened his coat and took it from him, and the look on his face was priceless. He's like, "Damn, man, I've lost my beer. It's time to go." Normally, I'm not that slick, but that whole transaction throughout the entire night, from when I started escorting her out and when he's tried to leave with the beer bottle, I had the whole thing just finessed. I knew what was going on. First of all, I was sober.
Right.
I had the wherewithal to plan his next move for him. So I just knew better. And I even told my other guy, I was like, hey, because you don't know which side they're going to be coming out on. I was like, yo, watch that guy that I was messing with. I think he's going to try to take a beer. I've been watching his body language, and it looks just like that. He's going to take a beer with him. And I got him, and I was like, hey, buddy, have a good night. Oh, dude, you got a beer? You can't have that.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I don't know how many times at closing, so, and every state is different, but in the state of Nebraska, and each county is different, actually. I have to say that, too, because in Omaha and Lincoln, the bars are open till 2. And here they close at 1. And so last call is obviously like at 12:40, 12:45, and then at like 12:55, 1 o'clock, we start kicking people out of the bar. Because if I remember correctly, we have 15 minutes from the time.
Well, we set our clocks 10-15 minutes ahead.
Yes.
So when it said 2 o'clock in the bar, it was actually 1:50
or
or
1:45.
an hour less than that.
Yeah. But like, I think that it's, and I don't remember the exact time. So please don't quote me, but I want to say from the time that we have to stop serving alcohol, which is 1 o'clock in the morning, we have 15 minutes to get everybody out of the bar, and not only get everybody out of the bar, but make sure that not one patron leaves that bar with any form of alcohol. And that includes a cup of water or ice, because no police officer is going to be driving by and go, oh, that's a cup of water, when they have a drink in their hand. They don't care. 15 minutes is a very, very short period of time to get, at times, 300 to 400 people out.
Drunk people,
yeah, hurting them like fucking cows, and then
and we did too. We had to.
Yes, but people don't understand.
You guys were little sheepdogs.
But here,
yes,
kind of. But I never understood this, because before I started bartending, I would go to a bar one time, and like we'd go to leave, and I'd have a glass of water, and some of the bartenders would just take it out of my hands, and I'd be like, "That's a glass of water," and they're like, "I don't care." And like I always thought they were so mean and so weird. Like, dude, it's a glass of water. I'm not drunk. Like, I'm fine. Blah blah blah. And then I became a bartender, and I realized I don't care what excuse you have. It's just a glass of water. I'm just doing this. I'm just doing that. Like, no, I don't care. There is a law. I have to follow it. And if the cops drive by at 1:15 and there are people in this establishment, we can lose our liquor license. Like,
it's not just a rule. It's a law.
Yeah, like it's a straight up law. Like, we can't even consume alcohol in that building after the building is closed. Like, once you get everybody out, legally, you cannot consume any alcohol, which is why some people do get in trouble, because they'll close down their establishment and then sit there and drink beer after hours. It's illegal. You can't do that unless you're not charging for the beer. Because if you're not charging for the beer, it's like going over to your friend's house and drinking past 1 o'clock. But if I'm charging for the beer, I cannot charge you past 1 o'clock.
And the doors have to be locked.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
special.
So it's like herding cattle. And not only is it like herding cattle, but like dumb cattle who are drunk, and half of them can't walk. Some of them are puking on the way out the door. Some of them are passed out in the bathroom.
How do you get passed out people out of the bathroom?
It doesn't happen too often, but you pick them up, you drag them out.
You usually get a bouncer or a big guy bartender and ask them to pick them up and take them outside. And generally when there is somebody that is that drunk, their friends are nearby. Yeah. So they're pretty easy to locate and be like, dude, take care of your friend.
So I feel like Chris had to do that with me. When I turned 21, he was my DD, since, he's older than me, and he had already done this before for his birthday. And I feel like the third bar that I went to that night, they told you guys that you had to take me out of there. Or teach me how to sit in my seat.
She only made it to the third bar?
Oh, we were at
No, she's lying to you. I don't think it was the third bar.
Yes, it was.
It was like the second.
No. You met us at the third bar because 2 of our other friends that we worked with at the time had taken me to 2 other bars in Lakewood.
Yeah, yep. And that's where I met you. The third bar was somewhere out there.
Yes. It was a place that no longer exists called Schooners.
The first bar that I got to, we were already getting kicked out.
Yes.
Like, but she kept falling out of her chair. And they were like the high bar stools. I know. Sober.
I know.
Yeah, try to explain that to a bartender.
Okay, but like he said, they were like bar stools, and we've already discovered that I'm fucking short. It's hard for me to stay up on a tall bar stool even when I'm sober.
And even if you like slip a little bit, you're so short it makes it look like you're like
Exactly. But in all fairness, I also feel like I didn't use the bathroom there, but instead peed between two cars out in the parking lot.
Do you know how many stories I have of me peeing in the most random places outside?
Sober or
so
drunk?
it's just not me?
Oh, absolutely not.
I have to be drunk to do so. I don't do it sober.
Oh, see, I'll do it sober if I'm out in the woods.
Oh gosh, no. In fact, I remember I was with my friend. I don't even remember the details of the night. I remember we were at a bar and we had met people. Don't know who we met. They gave us the address to a house party. So we drove to the house, but nobody was there yet, but I really had to pee. So I like got out of the car and peed between two of the houses. And while I was peeing, this group of guys was walking by looking for the house party. And they saw me peeing and I made out with one of the guys that night.
You're such a whore, Ginny.
Dirty girl.
He didn't see anything because I made sure where I was at was like in the dark, but they could tell there was somebody like over there peeing. And I was like, the house party, they're not here yet. I gotta pee. And they were like, and then we ended up hanging out and partying. And then I made out with one of the guys that night and a few other times after that as well.
Does he know you're the girl that was peeing in the parking lot?
Oh yeah. Yeah. To this day, we up until
he's a dirty boy.
Up until recently, him and I were still friends on social media. I think he recently got married, so he might have taken me off, which is fine. But like we've been friends and friendly since it happened. It was just one of those things where if we were both single and we'd see each other at the bar, we would make out. Never slept with them. That's, it's just sometimes you gotta have those makeout buddies. And it's great when your story is, I met you while I was peeing between two houses going to a house party.
I never at any point in my life had just a makeout buddy. I guess I'm not a slut.
Hey! We don't slut shame on this podcast, Amy. We said we were staying away from politics and religion.
I don't think that falls under either one of those categories.
That just falls under we're sisters and I call you a whore, a dirty whore, for any reason. Come on.
Nice try.
I can honestly say, and please no judgment, I've made out with more people than I've slept with.
That's fair. Actually that's okay.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's as far as the edge of the cliff is I'm comfortable going with this conversation.
Were you like editing our other one and I was like, Chris is going to have to edit this out. Because we were talking about tampons or something.
Were we?
It's already been blanked out of my mind.
I don't even remember, because I remember telling him that we had a topic that we said that needed to be edited out, but I told him, I was like, I already don't remember, and it had been like an hour prior.
It was at the very beginning of the conversation we were talking about like sex ed, and I remember telling you about how at the beginning of sex ed we had to go through the step-by-step process of that.
No. That was the episode where my audio was so bad that we didn't take it.
Oh, okay. Chris is legitimately having a brain aneurysm right
I don't think he's heard that.
No. I didn't get that far into it because it just
okay,
it wasn't
good, because it got kind of graphic there for a minute, and I was like, Chris is probably sitting here editing this right now, like throwing a conniption fit.
I'm glad I didn't dive deeper.
I'm glad you didn't listen to the further on that one.
Oh man.
So hold on. Before we get too like off task, you left us with the cliffhanger about the midget wrestling, and you never went into that. So I need you to tell this story, Chris.
I signed up for that night, not only because I wanted to see the show, but I knew it was going to be good money.
You signed up to wrestle in it?
No. I signed up to be a bartender.
Because usually that sort of thing would happen on like a random Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Yeah,
because
right in the middle
we
of
had
the week.
Big shows on the weekend, and it was hard to find people who were willing to bartend in the middle of the week because normally those weren't big money nights.
But midget wrestling, if I only made $100, I got to see a free show, and I made $100.
Right? Yeah.
So, I didn't really know what to expect. I really didn't.
So you were actually behind the bar during
Yeah,
this
I
particular?
was serving alcohol. So there was a lot that I could not see because you're just too busy.
But you can hear everything.
Oh yeah, you could hear everything, and you can kind of peek every now and then. But you're busy. You might be in the cooler. You're bouncing around.
Quick question: were any midgets thrown?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, geez. Oh, geez.
So we had a bar that had a dance floor, and then above the dance floor was a stage. And on the dance floor, they had like a mini WWE type stage on the dance floor.
WWF.
WWF, sorry.
No. It's WWE now. WWF is the World Wildlife Federation
Yes.
or Foundation.
So it's World Wrestling Entertainment or whatever. Anyways, so they had like a ring with like the things that they bounce off of and back and forth and blah, blah, blah. And that was on the dance floor. And then people could stand around that. And then if you were further away, people would stand on tables and chairs to be able to see.
Okay, so continue, Chris.
Well, not knowing what to expect, I was expecting everything. At one point, these two midgets, and I remember one of the girls, the girl midget, she might have been the only girl. She fucking kicked ass. She didn't take shit from none of them. And let me tell you,
I've got to tell you, like, as a little person who's a woman, yeah, we don't take shit from nobody.
No, these little people were mouthy as fuck.
Yes, demanding.
So to have a female, and probably the only female, in a room full of people, like some of the things they would say were dirty. Like, oh my God, I remember during one of their intermissions, one of them came up and I was like, hey, how you doing? And he's like, I'd be better if you bent over. Like, the shit that comes out of their mouth, and you just stand there and you're like,
you're thinking to yourself, is that part of the show? Is that
or is that who they are?
Is that just you being creepy? Because I'm hoping it's just part of the show.
And I would imagine it is on some level because they're playing a persona.
Right.
But still.
I remember that two of them had come back behind the bar. And let me tell you, WWE might be scripted. It might be fake to a point. Midget wrestling is not fake. They beat each other with chairs. They beat each other with wet floor signs. And they ended up behind the bar. And I'm like, yo, is this part of the show? Am I just supposed to let you do what you got to do? Or am I supposed to kick you out of here? Like, this was not brought up to me at all. I do not know how to handle this situation.
Because no one is allowed behind the bar.
Right.
Like, even the owners will not come behind the bar during hours of operation. Unless they are physically making drinks for guests.
And at the end of the night, man, they were, just like Ginny said, they were pushy. They were, because they're sitting at the bar and they're like, yo, give me a drink. I'm like, no, we lock the doors, man. It's time. We shut the coolers. Like, pack up and go home. Get out of here. They were very, very confident for as small as they were.
Is it? I picture like a bunch of little wee men from Jackass.
Yep.
Yeah.
15 of them.
Very much.
In your bar for 5 hours.
Running around. Dude, try to keep up with 15 3-year-olds is easier than keeping up with 15
in a crowd of 400 normal sized people.
Yeah. Dude, and this is no joke. You had to watch your back pocket. You had to watch your purse because they were so little. I saw some of it. I saw it.
So what you're saying is little people are pickpockets?
Not
all of us are.
In this show, they were.
In this show. Yeah, these groups. You had to watch them. We were watching the liquor too. Like, man, you're quick, dude. Come back here.
It's like having a 3-year-old run around, and like the next thing you know, like when they're quiet, that's when you need to be like. If they were during intermission and you didn't hear them mouthing off to somebody, you're like, where'd they go?
Yep.
They're up to no good.
Find that one.
They're somewhere.
He has a red shirt on.
Yeah, like it was entertaining to say the least, but great freaking money, let me tell you.
I really want to go see a midget wrestling show.
I don't know that they do them anymore.
I didn't know they exist until I worked at this bar. I had never seen one. I had never been to one. I had no idea they existed. In fact, there was 2 of them during my time there.
Yep, I worked one, and I think you worked one.
The only thing I've ever heard about wrestling, midget wrestling, is when they were on Friends. And he's like, dear God, Rodrigo never gets picked.
No, I mean, I had heard about it on TV because it was such a trope, to use as a gag on, TV. And then when I started working, and I don't know, maybe it's because we do live in a very small town. And as conservative as we are, that's not seen as
Offensive.
to some of the people here. So I don't know if it's like a small town thing or if it happens in the bigger cities. I was not 21 when we lived back in Washington, so I was not privy to what the bar situation was like and if that sort of thing happened there. So I'm speaking just from my experience of having lived in the Midwest since I was 21, or that isn't uncommon to see these types of shows.
I'm definitely gonna have to look this up and see if I can find midget wrestling, and see if it's still a thing.
That bar, that particular bar that we worked at, I don't think is around anymore.
No. Well, it's still there, but it's under different ownership and has a
Right.
different name.
Yeah.
And it's been
Yeah.
remodeled. So,
Oh, that'd be interesting to go see what's changed.
from the pictures I've seen, it's pretty legit. But I have not been there since I stopped bartending. Pretty much, I'm not a big bar person anymore. I'm too old. The music's too loud. I come home, my throat hurts. Like I never
And it's
thought I
too
would be that
expensive.
person. You're right. It's expensive.
I'd
I'd rather spend $15 on a 12-pack and let that last me for 2, 3, 4 nights rather than $15 as I walk in the door.
Well, most places now don't charge door fees anymore.
I remember that when I turned 21, I was really big into the bar scene for about 6 months, and then it just, like, it wasn't fun anymore. And even then, when I was going to the bar shortly after I turned 21, I didn't pay for my drinks because I was a 21-year-old girl.
I think so. Before I bartended, my girlfriends and I would maybe every 4 to 6 weeks all get together and have like a girls' night. Our kids we'd get a babysitter, we'd go out, we would party and we'd drink and we'd stay out and blah, blah, blah. And I do have a really good story. I think we might have discussed this story in one of the practice podcasts. But the second I started bartending, I stopped going to bars because being on the other side of the bar, like you see some things, you hear some things, you experience some things, and you go, Jesus Christ, was I this fucking annoying when I was on the other side of the bar? Because if I was, I did not tip enough. Like, oh my God. I don't know about you, Chris, and I don't know, some of our listeners may not know this term, but my biggest pet peeve with bartending is waterfall ordering.
Yes. Oh, dude, it happens in my industry today, and I'm not even a bartender.
Really?
anymore. Oh my God, I'll beat them, boy.
Let's back up.
Okay, so waterfall ordering is where, Amy, you come up to the bar and you go, okay, I want 2 Busch Lights. And so I get you your 2 Busch Lights. Okay, but now I need like 4 shots of Crown. Okay, can I get like, how
3
about,
Bloody
like,
Marys.
Can I get 2 like Bloody Marys and like a shot of Rumplemans? Okay. And then you go back and they want to order more. And you're like, okay, no, we're done. Because there's 4,000 people behind you. And if you wanted all that, you should have ordered it all at once. Or told me at the very beginning, I have a very large order. Would you like me to spit it at you all at once? Or do you want me to do it in the stages? But I hate it when they wait for you to go get the drink and then bring it. And then you go to try to talk to the person behind them or next to them. And they're like, no, I'm not done yet. And then they want to order more. Like, if you've been waiting in line that long and you get up to the bar, you better know what the hell you want when you want it. And I want it all right now. Now, if you spit it all out at me and I forget, I'm going to come back and go, okay, you wanted this, 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 and what else did you want? Because I didn't get that last one. Like, I've done that plenty of times. I would rather you give it to me all at once and me have to ask you questions than to me have to make 17 trips.
Right.
It's so frustrating. And then you go to cash them out. And they don't tip you.
Yeah, no shit.
Or they give you like $1. And it's like, I just made you how many drinks and how many trips?
That $1 wouldn't be so bad if they had given you the entire order in one shot. Because then you're like, move on, next.
Yeah,
next.
but because they kept you and they kept you from making drinks for somebody else who may have tipped you.
Right.
It's very frustrating.
Right.
So frustrating.
I could see that.
Oh, or when they come up and go, what's a good shot?
Like, know what you want before you get up here.
Okay, well, do you like tequila? Do you like rum? Do you like vodka?
No.
Okay, is there one that you don't like? Like, would you prefer no rum? Because if you don't want rum, then here. But if you're not a tequila person, like, I mean, it changes things. Oh, I want something fruity. Okay, do you want apple? Do you want banana? Do you want pineapple? Do you want boysenberry? Blackberry? There's strawberry. There's watermelon. Like, oh my God. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. And you could pick them out from a mile away. Because they were usually the young, like the 21-year-olds that only been coming to the bar for a month or 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still trying to get a feel of the bar vibe. And they don't know what drinks are available or which one's good. And
Surprise me.
you could see them from a mile away.
Yes.
And if you're a smart bartender, if there's multiple of you, you're like, shoop, right into the bar, the cooler, or to that end of the bar. You can see them coming. You know it.
And I don't know about you, Chris, but like if you snap at me or if you tap at the table or you wave at me, I'm going to ignore you.
Absolutely.
I usually will start on one end of the bar and go, okay, this person, and then I work my way this way. And then I'll work my way back, because that generally means by the time I've gotten to this person, I'm going. So, but I'm not going to stay in one area and just keep. And then, no, you are not whistling at me, snapping at me, clapping at me, waving at me. None of that.
I tried to be like, yo, I'm with somebody else right now. Do you have patience? Maybe just wait a minute. And that started a whole argument. Well, now I'm in an argument. I can't get out of it. I'm trying to tell the guy, be respectful of the patrons next to you that were here before you.
Yeah.
And now I'm in an argument with the guy. So then I learned real quickly, just absolutely ignore them. Don't even look at them. Don't even perk your ears because they made right. Just ignore them, because then they have no power over you at all.
Mm-mm. And then my favorite is, oh my gosh, so I couldn't do this so much bartending at the bar, because we obviously had so much more liquor to our disposal. So making drinks, there's a lot more drinks you could make. And there's one drink that'll probably have 7 million names and you'll never know all of them. But where I bartend now, I'm very limited to what I can make. I have quite a few liquors, but I only have so many mix-ins. So I couldn't do this when I worked at the big bar, but unless it was a regular. But where I work now, I just have even at a large wedding of 1,000 people, generally, the same people will come up to you, and I get the biggest tips when I see them walking up and I've got their drink ready, because I know what they make. And they're like, oh my God, you remembered. I'm so special. No, it was a Busch Light. It's not that hard. Like,
right. Like, I saw you coming. You only order that.
Yeah,
I got it ready for you.
The other day I had this guy. It was a double Windsor and Diet Coke. Not that hard. Like, so every time he came up, I'd be making it. Oh my God, you remembered me. And every time I get like a $5 bill. Like,
nice.
I will remember you every time you throw a $5 bill in my tip jar.
Hell yeah.
For every drink I make you bet your ass I'll give you a triple Windsor next time with Diet Coke, just because I like ya.
You're right. But they take it personal. They're like, that cute bartender over there likes me because she had my drink ready before I got there. I'm going to go try to get her number.
Who tips you the most if you remember their drinks?
Old men.
The women.
Really?
If a husband and wife come up and I know the wife's order before I know the husband's order, she'll be like, oh, like the other day I was bartending and this guy came up and he was like, Jack Daniels and Coke. And he was like, and I was like, okay. And he goes, and my wife's drink. And it's and she was getting ready to walk up because he could hear it. And I was like, it's a Captain and Squirt. And she was like, honey, give her a 20. Like, oh, because I remembered her Captain and Squirt because he couldn't remember it, but I could. And I don't know the
Captain and Squirt sounds delicious.
I've never tried it.
We'll have to try that on a pod together.
Yeah, Captain and Squirt, just so you know.
And we'll just call the episode that.
What?
Oh, Captain and Squirt. He said we'll call the episode that.
Yeah. That's what yeah.
What's that? Oh, that's one of those cooler
yeah, it's
can
my brewmate.
Coolers. I like that. Those
It's nice. It's for the skinny cans, so you can do these, but I also have like my bubbler energy drinks that fit in here too.
Nice.
I have a blueberry watermelon Vizzy.
Is that one any good? Okay.
I have a normal can version of what you got, and I haven't used it since, well, this summer. I just got it this summer.
Yeah.
But my lip hair here on my beard gets caught in there, so every time I pull a can away, it pulls a hair out. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no.
That's why you have the soft-sided ones.
No, I got one of these because when we were getting ready for the wedding, I still wanted to be able to have drinks, but I love margaritas and they're full of calories, so I was getting these seltzers because they're, 90 calories or whatever, but it's freaking hotter than poop here in the summer, so if you take your drink outside, if you don't drink it within 2 minutes, it's already lukewarm, so I got one of these.
Nice.
Again, a soft-sided one will get rid of the hair pulling, though.
But they don't keep the drinks as cold.
Right. Are you talking about the koozies?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. They do not pull my hair, but they do not work here in the 110-degree weather.
It's 110 here in the summer.
Yeah,
it's
but you guys have a
fine.
dry heat. We have a humid heat.
Yeah.
The humidity does fuck with it. I will give it that. It sweats. Everything melts. It's not.
Even in my house, here in just 3 minutes, the moment I crack my beer, it's one temperature, and in 3 minutes, it's already a next.
If you don't have one of these brewmates or one of these thicker, not just a plain koozie.
Okay.
So,
I guess I'm cheap.
well, you only need one. Like, I got it as, I think it was an anniversary present that Roger had gotten me because he went to Shields when he was in Omaha. And it was like $20. And I was like, when you're there, grab me one. It's $20.
We don't have a Shields and we don't have a Bass Pro.
Do you have a Dick's?
Or Cabela's.
Or...
We do have Dick's.
You can rent it there.
Okay.
I think. But you
Oh,
can get
I'm
them
sure you
online,
can.
too. And they have like a bajillion colors available online.
You can get
I'm
them
sure.
at Walmart even.
Yeah, the off-brand one. I don't know that you can get Brewmate.
Oh, yeah. It's not going to be the brand name. It'll be like Ozark Trail or some
Yeah.
shit.
But
That's
I
the one
mean,
that pulls
I'm not
money.
going to lie. I use this thing often enough that it was totally worth the $20.
Oh, yeah.
Because like I said, even when I don't have this, I have those bubbler energy drinks that are like a natural energy drink, and it's the same size can. So it fits in there too.
So, Amy, do you have any bar patron stories?
Other than my 21st birthday where I couldn't sit in the seat.
You've never observed anything at a bar?
Like I said, I only really did the bar scene for like 6 months after I turned 21, and then I went, but I got drunk too quickly, so I couldn't tell you what anybody else in that bar was doing.
Too quickly?
Yes, less than an hour, I bet.
What were you drinking?
I had ordered a couple vodka crayons, and then this girl that was
Those are good.
at the bar ordered me and my friend kamikaze shots with her because she liked us. So we had I want to say 2 or 3 kamikaze shots, and of course I was smoking, and you mix that.
That's what did it.
And the fact that I don't drink that often, and when I do, I can spread my drinks out a little more. She got did 3 kamikaze shots in I want to say 30 minutes or less.
You just couldn't hang with the pros, the seasoned pros.
I'm not a seasoned pro. I am a seasoned pro at sleeping and binge watching TV and reading. I'm the boring sister.
You finished that book in 24 hours that I got you for Christmas.
I'm 2 chapters in.
Still?
Amy, I have not had time. I have been so busy. I bartended, and then I wasn't...
That was a week ago that you told me that you were 2 chapters in.
No, I told you I was a chapter in at the last time we recorded, which was Sunday. So I have read another chapter since.
I've almost finished a whole other book since then.
I don't have time. By the time I have time to read, like I said, I'm too tired. And I want, when I read this book, to really read the book. I don't want to just read the words and then, like I said, go back and have to reread it because I didn't comprehend, or, I could probably sit there and read it all right now, but at the end I might not be able to tell you a damn detail in the book. I can read fast and I can skim over it, but when it comes to the nitty-gritty details, which this book is full of,
yeah.
So I don't want to miss that. Now, if it's some
we're I guess we should say what we're talking about, that new book. We won't tell any details about the book. We don't want to spoil it, but we're talking about the Matthew Perry book.
Yes, the Matthew Perry autobiography. Both Amy and I. So we had a Secret Santa this year from our family, instead of us buying everybody a present, because we have a lot of teenagers and stuff, and it gets expensive.
The wallet's a little tighter this year.
Yeah, it's a little expensive. So our brother Chris managed to somehow, he and his daughter managed to draw both me and Amy. And one of the things on our list was this Matthew Perry autobiography that we both had on our list. So Chris kind of had his work cut out for him. He just had to go buy 2 of the same book. He didn't have to. We had other things on the list, but that's what he chose for the 2 of us. And Amy has since finished hers, and I'm maybe 2 chapters in.
Yeah, Amy's was done in a night and a half.
Yeah, I know, because she messaged me and she's like, "Let me know when you're done reading it." And I'm like, "Oh my God."
So I kind of feel like a little bit of both spectrums. Okay, so I didn't get Amy a cool enough gift. She finished it in a day and a half. And if it takes Ginny a year to finish the book, okay, she wasn't interested in that.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm interested in, and here's the thing. One of my, because I'm not into super resolutions, but one of the things I wanted to do was work out more, watch less TV, and really only watch TV when I'm working out, because I can watch it on my phone, and then to read more. I, however, was not taking into consideration that we had taken on this huge task of a podcast and went, okay, so that free time of me not watching TV is now either recording or me trying to do enough research so that when these episodes do come up, and it is my episode or yours, I have coherent thoughts to go with it and not just fly everything off the cuff.
Right.
So reading has kind of furthered down on my list of things. I can't read while I'm working out because I can't. So finding a time where I'm not doing podcasts, not working out, not working, and then being a mom on top of it is...
I'm telling you, this whole like not being a parent thing is working out more and more for me as I get older.
There's the ups and the downs.
I'm not going to lie. Roger and I adore our niece, Chris's little one. Absolutely adore her. Absolutely enamored. Love every single piece about her. Love it when she comes. But holy shit, when they leave, Roger and I are like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. How the hell does Chris do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time.
She's a handful. But now that she's that's just her. I don't know if I could have it any other way.
No, I couldn't have it any other way. Although I do have to say, one of the things I want to work on is curbing her girl thinks she's got negotiation skills on point. and she will negotiate till she's blue in the face. She'll cry, crocodile tears, anything you can think of. No, there's no negotiation in Aunt Ginny's house.
We do not negotiate with terrorists.
Yes, we don't. Because she is a little terrorist when it comes to some things. Like, oh my God. Like, again, the cheesecake or the pumpkin pie that I made for Thanksgiving, I was like, it might be a little over whipped because there were times when I was like, okay, we're done. And she's like, but I'm just doing this. I didn't ask what you were doing.
I said stop.
Like, so maybe if we could curb her confidence in her negotiation skills, take her down a peg or two. That'd be great.
Yeah, I got some work ahead of me.
That is the one thing where we're like, oh my God, because she could run around all day and that's fine. But 99% of the time that she's running around all day, she is trying to do something she knows she's not supposed to. And then when you tell her not to do it, it is a battle to negotiate with her what she thinks she's doing and why she thinks she should be able to do it. Like,
very, very headstrong.
Oh God, yeah. If she doesn't get that,
I wonder where she gets that.
I don't know.
I'm gonna.
Could have been her mom.
I was gonna say I'm gonna be a firm. It's both of you. You're both hard-headed.
Yeah.
So she's just got it coming from both ends. Girl's screwed.
I got a turtle shell up here, or a tortoise shell.
Yeah, a tortoise shell. Turtle. Okay, so any more good, fun bartending stories?
I mean, there was a lot of fun ones here and there. I do. Oh no, this one's incriminating. I guess I could leave out. I guess I could leave out certain details.
Or you could just change name.
Well, no, it doesn't have anything to do with names. Well, except for me.
Oh.
I'll just leave out certain details.
Or you could just tell us the details and edit it out so we can at least hear the story.
Okay, we'll make a break so I can edit out what I don't want on public. Okay, so one night I get to the bar, I'm second on, and I don't remember who was first on that night, but it was just a lull night, just slow. There wasn't a whole lot going on. So me and the manager are sitting at the far end of the bar, just chilling,
shooting the shit.
And I look over at him, I'm like, well, where's the fucking bitches at? And he does, and you know him, he's not much of a talker unless he has to talk.
And he's so mild-mannered.
And so he gets on his phone, and I don't think nothing of it. And he gets on the Facebook group chat, and was like, Chris is calling all of you bitches. What are you all going to do about it? And then one after another one shows up, and I'm like, oh, fine, shoot. Finally, somebody's like, it's our group. It's our family. It's our bar family. One of them after another just start rolling in. I'm like, hey, shoot, we got a party going on.
Because
they all start sliding.
Knew how to party. There was, about 15, 16 of us?
Yeah.
And we could,
that
place
12.
could be dead, and we'd have a shit ton of fun.
Oh, dude, this was one of those nights. And so one after another starts coming in, and they start feeding me shots. And I'm like, shoot, dude. Like, I've never had this kind of treatment before. Where'd this come from? How'd this start? Like, and the manager looks over at me and he just kind of winks. And I'm like, oh, did you call everybody here? I didn't find out till later that he told them that I was calling them all bitches. And that's not what I was referring to. But hey, it turned out to be good. Well, so, I mean,
I think it turns out Chris ended up being the bitch.
Probably.
The bitch. Oh, well, I mean, like the drunk one?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
So we sit down at a table. Shoot, we're all like 5-6 shots in. Got a beer as the chaser. And we're playing quarters. And I'm losing like every round. I don't really know how to play the game, but I'm losing every round. So I take it as like, oh shit, I just got to get better. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just here to play with the gang, right? And they were just whether I won, lost, they won, lost. The shots were all coming to me. Oh gosh, holy shit! Well, now we stand up. We're playing. Shoot, I don't even remember.
Darts.
Another game at one of the high top tables.
Oh.
And there's not much after that I remember, but everybody just kept feeding me shots all night long. And I remember, okay, so here's where some of the details are going to get edited out. I had come to me and was like, Chris, let me give you a ride home.
And she was a pretty little thing. She's adorable.
I loved her.
She's the sweetest, nicest, prettiest little thing you'd ever.
So she wanted to give me a ride home, and I'm like, but I remember I got home. I thought I was slick as fuck. Slide into the back door, hop down the stairs, grab a pillow out of the dirty clothes hamper, and snuggle up on the couch so my wife didn't hear me, come home drunk. Nope, that's not what happened. I fell down the stairs. Boom. And later,
onto a concrete floor.
A concrete floor. The next day, she's like, yeah, I knew you were home drunk. I didn't even know what happened to you. I didn't even care. I was so pissed off at you. I was just going to come check on you in the morning. I'm like, well, fuck, I guess I know how you feel now.
Red flag.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a big drinker like you were saying, Amy and Chris. I'm on the same page with you that it's too expensive. My favorite part, or my most favorite thing is in the winter. It's kind of hard, obviously, because it's cold here. But I love sitting outside, having a drink, like a fire pit, just like chilling, talking to friends, music. Like, it's still fun and it still can get energetic, but it's not expensive. You don't have to dress up. It's not pretentious. Everybody can come and go as they please. It doesn't cost any money. Like, that's like my favorite kind of night.
Our summer evenings are the best. It doesn't get dark till 10. It's still 80 degrees at 10. Like, you could be shorts and a t-shirt at 10 o'clock at night and the sun's just going down. Like,
and the only reason I can't do shorts and a t-shirt out here in the summer is because of fucking mosquitoes.
Oh, there's a lot of mosquitoes here too. I just don't get bit like you do.
Like, here's the problem. It wouldn't be so bad if I got bit, Bill got bit, we, both had to suffer together. But no, he doesn't fucking get bit at all.
I don't either.
I hate you.
That's the way with me and Roger. I don't get bit, but he gets eaten alive. I don't. And if I do get bitten, it doesn't really bother me like it does other people. Like, it just for a little bit, but it doesn't like turn into
mine become like straight up welts, and like I can't, even if I can tell myself to not itch during the day, at night I cannot control what I do. Yeah. And I will itch, and I will itch them raw. And I've also noticed that I tend to get sleepy when I drink, even if it's like vodka Red Bull. But then again, Red Bull doesn't do shit for me.
I do if I'm drinking and I'm not moving around. But like if I'm sitting at home and I get and I'm tired and I'm just having a drink, then it makes me even more tired. But like if I'm at the bar or if I'm even out with friends, like I have energy. But once I stop drinking, then I'm tired.
See, and maybe that's it. It's always in a chill, laid back setting that I drink when I'm at home. So I become tired and I'm like, okay, I've had 2 drinks. I'm gonna go to bed now.
Yeah.
2?
What's that face?
That's it?
Sometimes.
It depends.
Sometimes, like, so like 2.5 sometimes?
Sure.
Lightweight.
I feel like it depends on the time of day
It
and
does.
what day it is. If it's a weekday, you know, I'm not going to drink a lot because I have to work
Last
the next
summer,
day.
I had like, what, 6, 7 margaritas throughout
Yeah,
the
remember
day?
when she was messaging us all those really weird messages in the group chat?
That was you drunk? I thought it was just Amy being Amy.
No, that was Amy drunk. Because usually there's like a method to her madness.
But what he's saying is it doesn't sound that much different from regular me.
I thought it was just Amy. Amy being Amy.
She's so fucking weird.
Well, you're not wrong. But
Oh, yeah.
And you also are much shorter in stature, so 2 drinks for you is like 5 drinks, 6 drinks for Chris.
In all fairness, I feel like Chris and I probably weigh close to the same. He's like a little beanpole, and I'm just like a roly-poly.
Because he's a beanpole, that means his metabolism works faster, which means it metabolizes the alcohol quicker out of his system. Your metabolism is much
Fine.
slower, so it doesn't break it down and get rid of it as fast as Chris's does.
Fine. Using your, like, brain to explain shit away.
Listen, you don't become good at anything just by doing it. You gotta practice.
10,000 hours.
And I definitely have that.
You have
I mean-
10,000 hours of drinking?
Well, 10,000 beers throughout my lifetime, I'm sure. Well, gosh, dang, that sounds like a lot.
I know, let's do the math here. You were 41, so you've been able to drink for
Wait,
20
is
years.
he? Hold on. Is he?
He'll be 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll be
Am I?
42 in June. Because I'll be
Am I?
41 in June. So
I'm
he's
definitely old enough to forget how old
So
I
he's
am.
41,
We
which
all
means
are.
he's been able to legally consume alcohol for 20 years. And if we were only taking the legal years, 20 years divided by what you said, 10,000?
Mm-hmm.
So is it 20 divided by 10,000 or is it 10,000 divided by 20? It's 10,000
that
divided by
equals
20,
500 beers a year.
which is a little
Easy.
divided by 365.
That's
Easy.
only
Like-
1.36 beers a day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for 20
1
years.
point, 1.4.
So 1.5 beers a day
Or
for 20
1.37.
years. So pretty
Yeah,
much 1.5 beers every day for 20 years. If
Yeah.
you were to have
That's-
drank 10,000 beers.
That's easy. Easy.
So it doesn't sound so bad when you
Actually,
put it that way.
no, that may not be accurate because I did get a DUI in 2006.
What?
You didn't
You
know
didn't
that?
know about that?
Yeah, it was in Amy's car.
No.
Yeah, I had to
In
pay for her
Amy's
car
Saturn?
to get out of impounded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My car
the
got
white one.
impounded.
Yeah.
I remember the green one got impounded.
No, it was the white one.
I don't remember a white one.
So
Must have
hold
been
on.
after
Here-
you moved.
Here's the thing, though. I had a green one, and then right around the time that this happened, I had sold the green one to a coworker and bought this white one, and I still had the registration
What
for the
kind of
green
car
one in the
was
car.
it again? Saturn.
It was a Saturn.
I know I just said it, and then all of a sudden it right over my head.
Yeah, so I had the registration for both the green one and the white one in that car, and Chris gave them the wrong registration.
Oh, I did?
Yes, you did.
So you got
because
a
that
DUI
was
for that?
no.
Well, no.
Well, not for
I
that.
was. If I would have handed him the right one, I may have gotten away with it. But it was his questions and my inability to shut up, which got me arrested.
Usually you're okay.
You know me. I've got a loud mouth. I can't keep my mouth shut.
And I'm sure we will cut this part out too. But Joe was in the car, and so was
Yeah.
a girl he was dating. And-
yeah. The same
and
girl
sh-
that I left Ginny's house with that was
Oh,
Oh, that
biting my
blonde
nipples.
18-year-old?
Yeah.
Was she blonde?
Yes.
I just remember her first name. But I just remember I asked Chris, I was like, well, can she drive? Because I knew she hadn't been drinking. And he's like, no, because she can't drive a stick.
Joe was too drunk.
Yep.
They got a
wouldn't let him
cab.
take him.
They got a cab home, and when I got out of the police station that night, the cop had a bag full of goodies, my phone, my wallet, keys, whatever else, And he gave me a bag. He dropped me off, kicked me out of his car on a dark corner of downtown Seattle somewhere. And there was a couple dudes sitting over. I mean, this gas station was closed. Lights were off. Everything was off. So here I am. I'm on my phone trying to make a phone call, trying to get a ride. I don't even really know where I'm at. Anyway, I get a ride back to Joe's house for the night and had to explain to Amy where her car is and why I'm not with it and how much it's going to cost for me to get it out of there. And I think I had to borrow money to get it out, and quickly anyway.
So that it wouldn't accrue more
right.
impound fees.
Yeah. So, but my whole, what I was trying to, when I'm bringing that up is after that fact, I actually cut it out. I stopped drinking for like 6 years. So it was 2012. I had been here for a few years already.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, I mean, we'd get home in the evening time and the guys are drinking in the shop. And I'm like, shoot, nah. Well, I went out on a date with this girl and I brought over a beer and I drank 3 beers on her doorstep and I was fucking drunk as shit because I didn't have any in so many years. And I had to call that date short and go home and walk my silly ass home.
That's funny.
Yeah, so there was a short time, well, a good period of time that I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm not drinking unless I'm home. Not doing it.
See, and I went through a really long period where I never had liquor in the house, beer, liquor, anything, no alcohol in the house whatsoever. And the only time I would drink is if I went out. And that's because me and my girlfriends, like I said earlier, every 4 to 6 weeks, we would get together and have a girls' night. We would usually go to dinner and then go to the bars. And I'm not saying we would get shit-faced drunk, but like that is the only time I would consume alcohol because I had a babysitter for the kids. I didn't have to worry about taking care of them. And then the next day, we would all get up as a big family, have breakfast, cook everybody breakfast, and we'd all, get up and hang out and then go home. That's the only time I would drink. Now that my kids are much older and I don't need to be like, I could not consume, or I did not want to have alcohol in my house when my kids were, say, your daughter's age, Chris, because it's there, you see it. So you just go, oh, I'll have a drink. And it's too easy to just have a drink, Yeah. So I just didn't carry it in the house. I just never bought it. It just was not something I had. Like I said, now that they're much older and I'm, don't have to be mom in the same capacity that you do when they're much younger. And we have a fridge out in the garage, so the alcohol is not necessarily in the house.
Right.
Although that Coors Banquet 6-pack that you bought is still sitting in the fridge.
Roger hasn't touched that?
He's not a huge drinker.
Oh,
he really isn't.
I got beer when I go there next time.
I know. He's not a super huge drinker, and if he does drink, so like where were we the other day? Oh, we went to Cunningham's for dinner. I think like 2 or 3 days after Christmas, and Roger had a rough day, so he had a beer. Outside of that, I don't remember the last time he drank.
That's crazy.
He just doesn't drink. He's just not a big drinker.
Now, see, back in the day when I was in my 20s, 21, for me, drinking, there was only one purpose. Get drunk, party, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I don't care if I have had enough to get drunk. In fact, I don't want to get drunk. Maybe a buzz, but I still want to, if I decide, oh shit, I got grocery shopping to do, I want to be able to go do that and not be like, well, I guess I'm grounded. I have too much to drink.
Right. Especially since you're single and live on your own. It's not like you have somebody else that can drive you around or do those things for you. Like, you still have to be responsible.
Yeah.
And you're right. When you're younger, the whole purpose is, and I had this conversation with my kids the other day, was, as a society in this country, we've put such a taboo on drinking to the point where when they do turn 21, it's like the only way they know to go is to binge. And that's not necessarily how a lot of other countries handle it. It's not as taboo, and it's, they don't have such strict rules. So by the time they're of the age to drink, it's not such a big deal.
Right.
And they aren't binge drinking, It's not go big or
well,
go
it
home.
goes for anything that you say, oh, you cannot do that. Well, if you tell me I cannot do that, guess what I'm going to do?
Yeah. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to go big.
Right. There's a lot of people out there like me who are just rebels at heart. Like, oh, you think you have a say?
Yeah.
Guess what? To teach a kid that it's not as bad as they say, but you can't be stupid with it. When you turn 21, just be responsible. That's really all you can do.
Well, yeah, and in our house, it's not. Like I said, when they were younger and I had to be mom, I didn't do it as much. Now that they're older and it doesn't take as much it's okay for them to see me have a drink and see me be responsible. I'm not getting drunk. I'm not being stupid. I'm not making stupid choices by driving or, anything else. But it's important for them to see. It's the same way that it is in relationships. It's important for them to see you and your spouse sometimes fighting, but also that conversation where you make up and get past it. Like, they need to see the beginning, the middle, and the end to understand that there's a responsible way to partake in this activity, and it's okay. Like, that's I don't want my children to be afraid of it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
well,
just me, though.
Do you guys want to do a quick this and that? Sneakers or sandals, Chris?
Sneakers.
Any reason why?
I hate feet. I hate my feet. I hate your feet. I mean, I'm not specifically saying yours, but everybody's feet. Don't touch me with your feet. I don't want to smell your feet. I don't want to see your feet. Just leave your feet off me, out of my bubble. And that goes for my own feet. I don't want to see them. I don't want to smell them. I don't want nothing. Just give me sneakers.
Okay.
Are we related?
I was wondering the same thing.
Because I would prefer to be barefoot all day, every day, till the day I die. So I would prefer sandals.
Same. I'm right there with you. I'd rather be barefoot than anything.
Well, maybe my foot complex comes from just a trove of girlfriends sticking their bare feet all over me. Like, do you know how?
Like when you're in bed and they're like freezing cold?
It doesn't matter when. Anytime their feet is bare. And it doesn't matter. For me, even if they get out of the shower, I don't want your feet on me. Your feet are on the floor all day long. I don't want your feet on me. How disrespectful could that be?
There's times when I'm like laying in bed and I'm like with my husband and it's hot. So like I don't want to cuddle him and he doesn't want to cuddle me, but I'll like put my foot on his calf. So it's like, that's my way of being like, I'm here. I love you. I'm cuddling with you, but it's too hot. I don't want to touch you.
Cuddling in bed. And it's just my leg. That's one thing.
Okay. I was going to
say,
say,
don't be putting it in my lap. Don't put it in my arms like we're sitting on the. Don't put your feet near my face. I don't care if they smell like vanilla rose beans. I don't want them around my face.
That part's fair. We can obviously tell Chris does not have a fet footish.
Fet?
Shut up. Foot fetish.
Please keep that in.
Oh, definitely.
Maybe that will be the title of this episode.
My favorite is the Footishes.
No, it should be, what were we saying? Captain and Squirt and Fet Footishes.
I like that.
There you
go. Sweet or savory, Ginny?
Savory.
Any reason why?
Because I can eat more of it. If it's sweet, I can only eat so much because it's just too much. But if it's
look, Chris's face.
But if it's savory, I can eat more of it in one sitting and feel less guilty.
I get that.
Chris looks like a dog that when you're looking at it and you're like, "Do you want to go outside?" And it
tilts its head. Chris, I'm going to assume that you disagree.
I'm really torn on that one. I like them both. I will eat and this is no exaggeration, I've done this. Amy might remember, I've not eaten a 9x13 pan of chicken, but I've also eaten a 8x8 pan of brownies in one sitting. Both of those.
Yes, he has.
I like savory and I like the sugar.
I think it's safe to say we all just like food.
Yes.
Yeah. If it's down to survival, give me savory. But if I get a full belly, oh yeah, give me the fucking pan of brownies.
Oh my God, Chris. Marvel or DC? Chris.
Kind of a question. There's only one answer.
Actually, depends on who you ask.
Well, Jenny, you go first then.
Yeah.
Marvel.
And what's your reason? Is it just because they have better movies right now?
I feel like the movies help, but I feel like the characters themselves have enough depth in them on their own that they can carry a movie, whereas or a comic or a TV show or whatever, whereas I don't know that any of the DC characters outside of Batman can really hold its own franchise, whether that be books, movies, or what, you know what I mean? I don't know.
So I take it you didn't like Wonder Woman or Aquaman?
Wasn't a super huge fan.
Or the Justice League?
I actually cannot stand them. Wonder Woman was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad.
You
but it was
also
okay.
realize Superman is part of DC.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. 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 If you say
Nope.
so.
I mean,
Chris, back to you.
Aquaman was good because Jason Momoa was fun to look at.
All right. And on that, Chris, what do you choose?
He's gonna say Jason Momoa.
I couldn't tell you who belongs to what. I might be the nerd of the group, but I'm not that nerd. I don't know who belongs to DC, who belongs to Marvel, but I do.
Okay, then how about this? Which superhero is your favorite? And I'll tell you, actually.
Well, I know who he belongs to. I know that much, but I've always liked the Hulk,
Okay.
which is Marvel.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, superheroes are superheroes. They're all fucking badass.
I would have picked Chris for a Tony Stark fan.
Oh, yeah. Iron Man is badass.
I have to say, I remember he and my husband and our cousins' sons all went to go see Iron Man in Pennsylvania.
Was that the first one or
Altogether.
second one?
That was the first one.
Yeah.
Because her and I went to go see a different movie.
We should have a podcast episode, Celebrity Crushes, because what I would do to Robert Downey Jr. Ugh.
Mr. Junior?
Robert Downey Jr.
Okay,
That's
well,
how,
you didn't say
that's
it
how
right.
she feels about it. She couldn't even finish her syllable.
No.
Junior. The Junior.
We should do an episode on that someday, because
Okay.
I tell ya.
That would be a conversation for the two of you.
Yeah, but you still have to hear it when you edit it out.
That'll be enough. Enough.
Oh my god.
Goodness.
Chris, summer or winter?
Summer.
Just because of the weather?
Yeah. I can go fishing whenever I want. I can go. I can sit outside until 10 o'clock drinking beer on the patio, not saying a thing, just listening to my podcasts, music, whatever, just minding my own business. In the wintertime, shoot, I might be in bed at 8 o'clock some nights.
How about you, Jenny?
Neither. Fall.
That wasn't an option, ma'am.
So I said neither.
Okay, but if you had a gun to your head, you had to choose one.
I mean, it depends on where I live. No.
Where you live right now.
Neither. It's too fucking hot in the summer and it's too damn cold in the winter. Neither. Fall. Now, if I'm back on the West Coast, summer. Because it's nice and warm during the day, but once the sun goes down, it's nice and cool and crisp, and that saltwater air comes off the breeze comes off the water. But here it's too fucking hot, too humid, too cold, too windy, too snowy. I'm sorry.
I'm going with summer, much like Chris. If I'm not at home in the air-conditioned house, I'm out at the lake. And when I'm at the lake, I'm in the water, swimming like 3 miles to that island I can see right there. I should probably not do that anymore, though. Yeah, I'm getting old.
Mm-hmm.
And what if I drown? It's a long way.
We'll find you eventually.
Yeah, there could be a Loch Ness monster just lurking underneath you.
I don't think the Loch Ness is actually in Shasta Lake.
You
Just
don't
saying.
know.
I don't. You're right. And I really don't think it's in Whiskeytown.
No, that's where Bigfoot lives.
Yeah.
Is Whiskeytown?
Bigfoot comes out of Bigfoot's on land and Loch Ness is in water. Get this right, Amy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Gosh.
if Bigfoot was gonna come from any town in particular, would be Whiskeytown.
Sounds legit.
Correct.
I'd buy it.
I know, right?
Okay.
I'd believe that story.
Okay. Breakfast or dinner, Jenny?
I only like breakfast food if I'm eating it at dinner. I don't like breakfast food in the morning.
Okay, fucking weirdo. Chris, how about you?
Dinner. And it doesn't matter what I'm eating. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Dinner based on time of day or just the meal?
Yeah, based on time of day.
Okay. Fair.
I don't eat breakfast
So then
at
I
all.
would be dinner too because I don't eat breakfast. Which is why I don't like breakfast food at breakfast because I'm not hungry for breakfast.
Ah, okay. Things are clicking.
Yeah. That makes sense. I'm gonna go with you guys then if we're going based on those rules because then I can have breakfast for dinner.
I love breakfast food, period. It doesn't matter
Same.
what time of day it is. However, I only eat breakfast in the mornings when my daughter's with me because that's just our tradition. We make big breakfasts.
Breakfasts?
Yeah.
Breakfasts?
You gotta add the
I'm not hungry in the morning. I generally don't get hungry until lunchtime. When it's lunchtime, I don't want breakfast food because it's too heavy. and I'm not as hungry yet. So like
Chris is doing that dog head
yeah.
move again.
I yeah. And you guys are going to think I'm weird. I'm not a huge pork fan. So I'm not a super huge fan of bacon or sausage or ham. Like I'll eat it. It's good, but like it's so salty. And
I understand the bacon part. And I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound very, very, very out of context unless you know me. Bacon smells like dissected.
no, I don't want to hear.
No.
No, I don't. Because then the next time I make bacon, all I'm going to think about is a dissected. I think
Yeah.
we're good.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Because I love bacon. Don't
I already
ruin it.
don't like it enough as it is. I don't need a mental picture of a dissected.
I'm just going to put it out there that I was in 10th grade, okay?
Ew.
Would you rather go to LA or New York?
New York.
Yeah, I think New York. New York.
Okay.
Been to both.
Ginny, what's your reasoning for New York?
Oh my God. New York is beautiful. It's pretty. The people are nice. It's fast paced, but there's so much food and there's so much to see. LA is dirty. People are mean. It is.
What part of these cities are you going to?
Well, so in LA, and when we went to Carousel, which is an Arabic restaurant or a Lebanese Armenian restaurant off of Hollywood Boulevard. We drove down Hollywood Boulevard. We drove downtown in LA, everywhere. Now, if you get outside of like LA and you're like Redondo Beach, Long Beach, those areas are a lot prettier, but LA proper, not so much. Now, New York, we were all over, obviously doing more touristy things because I was there with Mom and, but like, I just remember when we were there with Mom, it was right after her second cancer diagnosis, but before she had started like her therapy and surgery and stuff. And we were taking the ferry over to, I don't even remember, is it Ellis Island or whatever? No, Ellis Island is different than where the Statue of Liberty is, but it's like the same ferry. And it was after 9/11 and we had to go through security and you had to go through all this stuff. And Mom had a glass of water from Starbucks and she needed it because she was taking medication for her cancer and everything. And they were like, ma'am, you can't have your water, blah, blah, blah. And I remember being like, she's sick with cancer. She's taking medication. Is there any way that like we can give you the water and then like you can take it on the other side? And like, what can we do? She needs this water like to be able to take her medication. We got like red carpet treatment after that. I'm not kidding you. They whisked us through security. They were like, say no more. They get us on the front of the boat. We get to the Statue of Liberty. We got our own personal escort and like tour guide. And like and Mom was walking at the time, but they got her a wheelchair. And Mom was like, no, I don't need a wheelchair. And he's like, no. He's like, I will, if we have a wheelchair, we can get up. We could go the back way up the elevator. And like, people were so nice that like, they understood this was like her last trip before like shit started to go downhill. LA, people are mean. They don't give two shits about people, the way they drive. Like, I am not kidding you. I've been to both. I would go to New York 10 times over before I go back to LA.
Okay, and Chris, what's your reasoning for New York?
I don't know. I've never been to either one of them. I mean, I've been to New York for a minute, but just based on what I've seen on TV and movies and stuff, it just looks more my style.
It's a vibe, let me tell you. You'd love it.
I've been there, and no, I don't. I don't know if maybe I just attract angry people in general, but I feel like all I ever deal with is angry people. The people in New York were like pushy, shovey, like no better.
Hey, what you doing, man? Get out of here!
Yeah, I'm walking here. Yeah, like no matter where I go, apparently I just draw out the assholes around me. So like, weather alone, I'd go to LA.
Weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet the weather is nicer there.
It
for
is.
sure.
It's nice.
For sure.
I agree. Like if we were just doing it based on climate, obviously LA. But if we're going for like vibe, atmosphere, New York is just.
See, and like because of the fact that none of that appeals to me, I'm going on weather.
See, the one thing that LA has over New York is it's beach town,
Yeah.
You're right there on the water.
So I'm saying,
I mean,
like, if you get outside of LA and go to Redondo or Long Beach or whatever, it's
Huntington.
Gorgeous. La Jolla's right there. It's stunning. So yeah, climate, wise, absolutely. Not just climate, but like the views and the beach, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Final one.
Okay.
Sushi or tacos? Ginny.
Sushi. Oh, sorry.
That's not fair. Don't
I know,
make
that's
me
why I said it's a hard one.
choose. Don't make me choose. I'm not going to break my heart if I have to choose.
Do you want sushi tacos?
Oh,
Yes.
shit.
Okay, there you go. There's my answer. I want a taco that's got sushi in it. So, yeah, a sushi taco.
You just made something up that sounds delicious.
Sounds fucking fantastic
Maybe,
is what
like,
it sounds like.
Like spicy sushi
Spicy tuna roll.
with like in a taco shape.
No, like you put it in a burrito tortilla and just make a big sushi burrito.
I have an actual sushi maker.
So do I. Why have we never made sushi together?
I don't know. I'll bring it next time and we can make two at the same time.
Okay.
I'll bring it.
I'm just SOL over here.
We'll send pictures.
Fuck you.
I think I got mine on Wish. Wish.com.
I don't know. I got mine as a Christmas gift one year. It comes with like a book that shows you how to roll it and everything. I mean, it's whatever. But yes, a sushi taco. That's my answer. Chris, what's yours?
I'm going to change mine to sushi taco also. Because that sounds...
Right?
Chef's kiss.
Because Amy knew what she was doing to me on that one. I love sushi. Do not get me wrong. It's got to be good sushi, but...
Now that I've made up this new food, I'm going with the sushi taco as well.
So now our next assignment should be each of us creating our own version of a sushi taco and sharing our experiences. Maybe that could be a podcast.
Oh, it could.
It
Call
very
it
well
Sushi
could.
Taco.
I feel like we might need to specify that a sushi taco is not a female vagina because sushi is fish and a taco is also referenced. So I really don't know that sushi taco is the right
I think
caption.
it's still I think it's a good title, and then in the description is where we specify we're making.
Maybe just put the title is "We Love Sushi Tacos."
Ginny's dying.
Tell me I'm wrong. That's gonna get some clicks. Tell me I'm wrong. People would be like, "What?" I have got to listen.
I have got to figure out what this is about. And we don't even need to put a description on that one. Just put "We love sushi."
What is a
tacos.
sushi taco?
Oh my god.
Let their own mind, and then they gotta make it to the end of the podcast before they even know what it means. That's our hardcore true listener.
Oh my
Chris
god.
is gonna have to edit out me.
Dying?
Yes, I'm currently dying right now.
Oh jeez.
Well, I think it's probably time we call
past
it.
my bedtime,
Yeah.
you guys. All right, Amy, where can they find us at?
You can email us at Ginny and Amy Podcast. That's GINNYANDAMYPODCAST @gmail.com.
You can also find us on Instagram at Bitching Siblings Podcast, where we will have some posts and where you can message us with any suggestions and or thoughts. Please send us all of your consideration. Everything is on the table except for politics and religion.
They're swept right off. They're out of here.
Yep, they're gone. Don't even try.
Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can get notifications every time we drop a new episode. Like that, we love sushi tacos.
Yes.
Hashtag.
All right, everybody. Good night.
Have a
night.
great night, guys.